Welcome to my studio. Here's a drawing, a pastel drawing. I did it back in about 2018, and on this video I'm going to zoom in and show you exactly how I created the elephant skin texture on the mother's trunk. Now here's a small section of my reference photo. On the left hand side you can see where I've dragged some colours out with my image editor. That's the coloured pencils I'm going to be using. Now obviously I've already got my underlayer in place, and that can be done with pan pastels, or it can be done with soft pastels, or even pastel pencils. But you can imagine if I blocked that in with pastel pencils, it'd be wearing my pencils out very quickly, and that's why I usually use pans or the softer pastels to do that stage. Then I rub it in hard, or fairly hard, with my finger into the paper surface. Paper I'm using, my favourite paper, Pastel Matte by Clairefontaine. Now I cover all things like that in the long version of this video. I think it's about 6 hours or more long, so as you can imagine I go into great detail and depth on virtually everything. So if you want to look at a much longer version of this, there's a link below the video, and it's also available on my Patreon art channel. So the underlayer I've done in a mixture of fairly dark browns, but the thing I'm concentrating, or the thing I wanted to get more than anything, was a nice deep undertone so I can put my lighter pencils on top. Now what I'm doing in this stage, I'm just establishing the dark creases because they are deeper in the elephant's folds of skin, and then I'll build the lighter layers of texture on top. And you can see how many pencils I've already got in my hand, because an elephant's skin is anything but just grey. There's lots and lots of really interesting colours in there. The more colours you can get in there, the more it's interesting for the viewer to look at. So we don't want just a flat colour. Now you can see by the number that I've got in my hand, and I've also got pencils over on the side as well. That's why I can't go giving out pencil colour recipes for areas like this. The colours are changing all the time. Now offer your drawing, sometimes your reference, up to the drawing. Have a look at how close you're starting to get with your colours. You can see I need to go a lot lighter. That was the plan with the underlayer, to go dark enough so the lighter layers will show on top. So to help yourself, keep putting that reference photo, fold it like I just did, keep putting it up there if you're trying to get, you know, it really realistic and matching your reference, so that you can see how close you're getting. Perhaps you're not going light enough, perhaps you're going too dark, perhaps your colours are off. We don't need to copy the reference photo exactly, as you already all know that, but if you wanted to get similar to it, we need to get similar colours as the layers are building up, and that's one of the best ways to know you're on track. So this is a fairly slow process, building up layers, re-establishing the darks as I am now. That's a Carbothello pencil I'm using. That's one of my favourite brands. The other favourite is Pitt pastel pencils. Those are the two you'll see me use more often than not. Now I start with the darker layers, and I'm trying to recreate that texture that I'm seeing, which is, when you've really zoomed in on the reference, the texture is built up of all little tiny dots, all little tiny texture markings, and that's what I'm doing with my pencil, trying to recreate it. You can see sometimes using more of a stabbing motion as I'm trying to work out for myself the best way to recreate that texture. Because no two drawings and no two paintings are ever the same. There's always going to be a new challenge, whether it's because the subject is now larger than you've done before, or the lighting on it is different. There's always something that challenges you, and you, in this instance, I really want to try and create that texture. So if you could imagine touching the elephant's trunk, that's what I'm trying to recreate on a two-dimensional flat surface. So there you can already see the texture starting to build up as I'm gradually going lighter and lighter. Once again, folding it, holding it up, I can still go even lighter, but I'm getting much closer to the effect that I want. So even after all these years painting and drawing, this is a cool and useful tip, especially at the beginning stages. So now I've got a pencil that's even lighter. Once again, I'm doing small circular motions. Obviously it's difficult to see unless you're looking on a really large screen, but you get the idea of the technique that I'm using. And once I've worked out the technique on this small area, then the rest of it will come much more quickly, because I will have gained confidence that the technique actually gives me the appearance and the effect that I'm after. Now I'm working my way down. So I've sped the video up because obviously this took me quite a while to do. But I'm using the same technique all the time. I'm getting the little creases in place first, working on the darker areas, then gradually putting in more of the mid-tones and then going lighter. But important to get the creases in first. That's what's giving the shape of the trunk. And especially on other areas of the drawing, when I'm doing the baby elephant's trunk where it's more curved and you're looking straight on, it's really important then to get those creases in place. So I've just slowed the drawing back down so this is real-time speed. So you can see, even though it's a fairly slow process, it's not going to take me too long to actually do the whole of the trunk. Within the hour, even at this scale, all that would be done. And now I'm gaining confidence that I mentioned earlier on about the technique. I'm going that bit quicker again. Not too worried of getting the colours exactly right. Once the whole of the trunk is done, then I make those slight adjustments so I can bring in more of those warm brown colours, and in the shadow areas I bring in more of the cooler dark areas. And I'm not following exactly all these creases. It's pretty much impossible, and there's not really any reason to be getting them all in exactly the right place, because as the trunk moves slightly, the creases would change position. As it was a different elephant, they'd be in a different place. So I'm after, let's call it the essence of what we're actually seeing, so that when the viewer that doesn't see the reference photo sees it, they won't know any difference if I'm exactly right on the creases or not. So that makes this whole process much faster again. Now I'm just lightening that area up as well, because now I've got that piece in that I put where my hand is now, and that went a bit lighter. I could see I could have gone even lighter on the sections I'd already done. And already that's starting to come together and looking quite realistic. Just wanted to quickly mention my Patreon channel for those looking for even more in-depth art instruction. It's packed full of pastel videos, oil videos as well, and those videos are being added to new ones every single month. I have videos for the complete beginner that have never done pastels or oils before with just limited supplies. And I take you from the very first blocking in all the way through to the final detailed drawings and paintings. I've also got some really unusual subjects as well, and in all of my videos I always take you through all the details. You see everything I do, how I create my work. But it's not just for beginners, it's also for novices, and I also show the best artwork that I've ever done as well. And this particular elephant video spans 6 hours, so you know you're going to see tons and tons of details, tips and techniques. And as mentioned, I've got lots of oil videos on there too, so there really is something for everybody, and you get access to hundreds of hours worth of videos for just $4. Now over 1,000 members strong. Hope to see you there soon. Okay, so back to the drawing. You can see I've got a piece of glassine paper there that I'm resting my reference photo on top. That's just there to prevent me from smudging the underlayer. So I've got my finger on the bottom pointing near to where I'm going, because as you can imagine, it's very easy to lose your place on something that's as complicated as this trunk. And that's why I wanted to show this video in a bit more depth, so that you could see that even something that's extremely complicated, such as the rippled skin of the elephant, that can be tackled if you put it into smaller bite-sized elements and work on one small area and gradually bring it to completion. It's easy to be overwhelmed when you see something like that trunk at that scale and you don't really know where to start. So I broke it down by first getting that underlayer in place, then getting the lines, the creases in place, and now building the texture. So it's much more manageable that way. So I'm going to speed the video up again and just carry on now. Same technique, building textures with these small circular movements. Now when you're doing a subject like this and it's very large, it's always good to take time out, lots of rest breaks, start again the next day even, but leave your pencils out that you're using. You don't want to go putting them all back in your set and then find the next day you're trying to remember which colours you're using, because with all of these pencils, and it's the same with coloured pencils as well, the colour on the shaft of the pencil or the tip of the pencil even doesn't really give you an exact representation of the colour that's going down. So I always keep the batch of pencils out that I'm using for something like this. If I finish halfway through or whatever, keep them out so they're ready to go the next day and I know I'm using the exact same colours. Now as I've got all of the trunk done, now I'm starting to work on it as a whole. I'm coming back over now with these lighter pencils, and that creates the uniformity then, the overall colour on the piece. And you can see it's also giving it that real texture. And I'm coming in with darks, re-establishing the darks, giving the effect then of deeper creases and folds in the skin. And with the pastels we can alternate, we can go light and dark to light. That's one of the real advantages of how easily we can do that with pastels. So as I'm doing some work on the tusks, hope you've enjoyed this video. As I mentioned, it's a very short part of a 6-hour long video where I go into depth on the whole of the elephant painting and the baby elephant as well. It's one of my most challenging work so far. I think it's one of my best as well. So if you'd like to see how I create that, this is the full version. It's available for DVD players worldwide, plays all over the world, or you can watch it on my Patreon art channel. Well over 1,000 members watching all of my lesson videos in pastels and oils there. So as this finishes, once again, hope you've enjoyed it, hope you've picked up some tips and techniques with this tricky subject, and I'll see you all again real soon. If you're looking for more art resources, I've really got you covered. I've got a dedicated tutorial website, that's jasonmorgan.co.uk, lots of videos on there, ebook tutorials, you name it, it's on that site. I've got a Patreon art channel. So every month I put up brand new videos, and that could be pastel videos, oils, charcoals, they're full-length videos, and there's also photo references with the Easy Trace line art on there. I've got quite a few hundred people supporting me, and that's on Patreon. And also, if you're after even more reference photos, I got a dedicated website just packed with reference photos. I think there's about 900 on there at the moment. So that's wildlifeart-online.com. Now please, with my YouTube channel, new videos coming on here as well. If you can possibly subscribe to the channel, then you're never going to miss out on new videos.